Hello everybody. Now we'll go through the concept of a heat transfer. Suppose one end of a metal rod is placed into the flame. The other end of the rod will get so hot that no one can hold it with bare hands. If we touch an ice cube, does cold flow from the ice cube to our hand or vice versa? These are some common examples of a heat transfer. The spontaneous transfer of a heat is always from a warmer objects to cooler objects. For example, when we approach towards a fire, energy transfer from our hand. Similarly, when we approach to a piece of ice, energy transfers from our hand to ice, as a hand is warmer than ice. If several objects are in a thermal contact, then those are warm get cooler and then those are cool become warmer until all are at the same temperature. This equalization of temperatures takes place by three different ways. Those are conduction, convection and radiation. Let us understand the process of conduction. Conduction is the transfer of heat as a result of a direct contact. When one end of a metal rod is heated, the temperature of the hot end goes on increasing. The increase in the temperature of the rod can be observed by the increase in the redness of the rod. This example is a symbolical representation of a conduction through a metal rod. Conduction also happens when an object is placed in a thermal contact with a cold object. But what really happens in the process of a conduction? Let's examine the process in a microscopic point of view. When an object is in a solid state, all atoms are bounded together by bonds which are like an elastic spring. They vibrate in a possible direction about their mean position. As seen previously, metal rod is heated at one end, its temperature rises. The kinetic energy as shown in the figure or this video of hot atoms increases because of the atoms vibrate more rapidly with a large amplitude. The fast vibrating atoms about their mean position transfer their excess energy to the neighboring atom through elastic bond, causing the neighboring atoms to vibrate faster than the previous. They further transfer excess energy to the neighboring atoms. In this way, heat is transferred along the length of a solid. Conduction is especially important in solids where particles are held together by the strong intermolecular forces. Now we will go to the rate of a heat transfer by conduction. What we can see in this video, one rod is heated in a burner flame. At the end of each rod, the pin is attached through a wax bead. So what we have seen, the rate of a conduction is the highest in a copper and the lowest in a glass. Non-metals like wood, glass are poor conductors of heat. Metals like copper and aluminium are good conductors of heat because there are elastic bonds and also free electrons in the metals. Solid conducts heat better than the liquids. Liquids conduct better than gases. Now we will go through the convection. The most significant process of a transfer of a thermal energy in fluids is a convection. Convection is the process by which thermal energy is transmitted from one place to another by the movement of a hot particle of a liquid or a gas. This is the difference between a convection and a conduction. In conduction, particles do not move. They just vibrate around their fixed mean position. But in a convection, the movement of a hot particle is the cause of the heat transfer. Convection in a liquid. The atoms of a fluid are mobile in it. What we have seen in this video, the flask contains water and a few crystals of a potassium permanganate. The flask is now gently heated below the crust is. Purple streaks will rise upwards and then fan outwards. The water will turn uniform purple after some time. Some example of a convections. Air conditioners are best positioned high near the ceiling of a room. Room heater fitted near the flooring. Sea breeze and land breeze are the examples of a naturally occurring convection. Ocean currents, trade winds are also the examples of a convection. A wind is a convection current formed in air due to unequal heating. Now let us see what we have learned by solving crossword puzzle. Again, there are lots of examples. We will just go through one or two of them. A gain or a loss of a heat causes a dash dash in a temperature, change in a temperature. Second one, generally matter dash dash on a heating, that is expands on a heating. And third one, heat travels from one object to another because there is a dash dash in a temperature, that is difference in a temperature. Now you can solve other things by yourself. Thank you.